It's not often when an individual realizes that they are currently experiencing history, but today will be a historic moment in Train Rebel Trials and the Big Jangus channel's history, with Event 5, the halfway point of Train Rebel Trials Season 3, the ever-classic bracket-style staple of the series, the Holeshot Rollback. Hello everybody and welcome back to Train Rebel Trials Season 3. Of course, as mentioned, today is a very special day. For today is the final broadcast ever from this current Train Rebel Trials, Big Jangus Marbles, however you want to call it. It is the final broadcast from this stadium. You'll never see this grey carpet ever again. This place will be torn down for a new one. You'll see in Event 7, because Event 6 will feature the downhill drag hallway that is forever iconic. So these next two events are going to feature these locations for the final time, and the Holeshot Rollback is pretty much the perfect way to send it off. It is the bracket style event of the series. There has been no bracket style event since, and it's been in both seasons. Gordon, the winner in Season 1. Golden Syrup, the winner in Season 2. And we'll see how those previous winners shake up today in the competition. As we line up for, of course, the B-League first, this is going to be the longest broadcast in history as well, due to the two bracket-style events we have to go through. And Heat 1 of the B-League lines up now. Vagabond and the Governor. Of course, it's all about going up the ramp and getting back down to the bottom as quickly as possible. It does not matter how high or low you go, but as the Governor just proved, it is definitely better to go low. The Governor stalls up the ramp much quicker than Vagabond and comfortably beats them by over 0.5 of a second. Easy win there. They did go back and forth on the way down and weren't particularly fast, but Vagabond couldn't make use of a bounce off the top wall to get more speed and catch up. So the Governor advances to the semi-finals. Jolly Jogger, of course, in season, and Amphibian in Heat 2. This is, of course, a Boxing Day fixture as well, so that makes the all the more exciting. Jolly Jogger up to the lead, has the lead going down the ramp, and will hold it all the way to the end. Amphibian just went a little bit too high and couldn't get a perfect rebound to make up the speed. So Jolly Jogger gets the win there, moves on to the semi-finals. Of course, Christmas season around the world. It's Boxing Day in Australia where this is being broadcasted. Amphibian comes flying down the ramp here, of course. Can't quite catch up to Jolly Jogger and will crash out in the heats. Jolly Jogger does advance to season. Now we move on to Heat 3. Shiverburn and Wave Runner. Both have had varying success. Shiverburn is, of course, last in the table. Wave Runner has some work to do. Wave Runner now comes around town of Shiverburn, wraps around the outside and blocks Shiverburn all the way down the ramp and advances with a very nice defensive display. Shiverburn cannot get anything going again this season, and a 6.2 time is relatively slow. Could be towards the bottom of the order again. Now here's Wave Runner. They go around Shiverburn in a great wraparound move and then block them in the second half of the course, keeping it all the way to the end. Shiverburn cannot get enough speed to wrap around like Wave Runner did to them. They're out in the heats, and we move on to the final heat of the B-League. Gravedigger versus Bone Rattler. Of course, both surprised to be in the B-League at all, and it's pretty even going out the ramp. Bone Rattler suddenly goes way higher as Gravedigger's able to stop a bit earlier. Bone Rattler cannot take advantage of the gained speed, and Gravedigger wins and moves along to the semi-finals. We have our four semi-finalists confirmed. Bone Rattler, the championship leader, of course, was ahead of the Governor by 2 points, will crash out, and the Governor actually advanced, as did Jolly Jogger in third place, but Jolly Jogger is, of course, a way behind of those top two. So, big chance for the Governor here to reassume P1 in the table. They have to get past Jolly Jogger to do it though, because they go to the third place round. It is unconfirmed. We could have a tie at the end of this event. Semi-final A, of course, will be the Governor versus Jolly Jogger, lining up to try and confirm their spot in the gold medal match. The Governor goes a bit higher than Jolly Jogger, can't quite reach the wall either, comes flying down the ramp, but Jolly Jogger keeps the speed up, and it's enough to advance to the final. Governor, look at that. It was straight up for the Governor basically, and also straight down. They didn't make any mistakes on the way down the ramp. A perfect line in between two rows of gaps, but Jolly Jogger was swerving a bit but didn't slow down enough to let the Governor catch up. Jolly Jogger confirms a spot in the final. The Governor will go to the third place match. Wave Runner and Gravedigger, which one of these will confirm those spots? Gravedigger is looking to go higher and does. Wave Runner stalls out and goes back and forth to defend. Gravedigger all over the place. Was both competitors there, swerving all around the track, and Wave Runner confirms the advancement by less than a tenth. A very close race there, but look at the desperation of Gravedigger to try and get around. They go to the right to try and get back. Wave Runner cuts that off, swerves back to the left as Gravedigger, but can't quite catch the speed, and Wave Runner for safety also swerves to the left to block it off. Great racing by those two, but Gravedigger comes up short, and we'll go to the third place round with the Governor. Jolly Jogger and Wave Runner will fight for the gold. If Governor finishes this event and gets the bronze, they will be ahead of Bonarella in the standings by 2 points. If not, if they finish in 4th, it'll be a tie. Gravedigger is going to go higher up the ramp, but goes super high, hits the back wall perfectly, and passes the Governor on the way back down. Gravedigger secures their second medal of these games, another bronze medal. And it was a pretty clear win too, nearly half a second. Governor went up a bit too high there. Gravedigger went higher, but was able to bounce off the wall to perfection. We've talked about that so far. We were yet to see it. The Governor will finish in 4th place and will be equal on points with Bone Rattler. How will Jolly Jogger and Wave Runner have a chance to catch up now, with both those competitors not having the best outings this afternoon? A good start by Wave Runner, but goes a bit too high. Jolly Jogger is able to stall out quickly. Wave Runner's got the speed down the ramp though. Jolly Jogger kept it close, going too slow down the ramp, but it was just enough to hold on. 0.06 of a second actually separated those two races, and Jolly Jogger gets the win in the festive spirit. How good is that? Wave Runner though had this look at the speed Wave Runner had a little bit longer, and they would have secured the win there over Jolly Jogger, who did stop earlier but did not slow down enough to let Wave Runner catch up. Wave Runner will get silver, Gravedigger the bronze, but Jolly Jogger comes home in the Christmas spirit to win the event. And what does this do for the table? Jolly Jogger, the top 3 remain unchanged. In fact, most of them remain unchanged. But now look at the gaps. First through third, separated by just 1 point. Wave Runner is 8 points off of the lead, but them and Gravedigger currently have the outside looking in. They need to make some moves, so they're going to catch up. But it is now anyone's game in the B League with how close it has gotten. And now we look to the A League. Gordon leads by 6 points over Constellation, who's 3 clear of Lightning Shark, who's 7 clear of Shining Dawn. Blackcurrant, Spruce Log, and Neoclassicist are 5th to 7th, and they all went up, so they're all in the last event, so they've all got the form to push ahead and try and gain on those leaders in this event, but it all depends on how they go. Of course, Gordon is facing up against Spruce Log. What a blockbuster match that is, and just the heats. 2 Decorated Marvels facing off in Heat 3. We got a ways to go. 2 races to go before that, and these will be just as good, with Heat 1, Ice Cold and Fast Fish. 2 Season 1 veterans yet to really hit the ground running in this competition. Ice Cold gets higher than Fast Fish and tries to wrap around. Fast Fish blocks perfectly on the right side and holds it to the end. Ice Cold was trying valiantly, especially on the rebound at the very, very top. They tried to get around early, but got stuck behind Fast Fish. Here's the move to try and get around, but Fast Fish can't quite do it. In fact, Ice Cold actually gets caught in a line of gaps, and that did not help. And then right there, Fast Fish pulls away and secures the win. They will advance to the quarterfinals. Ice Cold, nothing doing. Heat 2, Lapis Lazuli and Butterscotch, 2 more Season 1 veterans. Both would have done this event twice, as they both have they're perfect attendees. They're even going up the ramp. It's all about the speed down the ramp now. Lapis Lazuli is going to get a cruise across the line just in time ahead of Butterscotch. They were perfectly even up the ramp. They basically stopped at the exact same point. Right there. One straight track away from the end. Lapis Lazuli is able to clear Butterscotch, cutting them off there. Butterscotch tries to go over to the left to try and get an overtake, but can't quite pull it off. And now here we have our blockbuster. Spruce Log versus Gordon. 2 Decorated Marvels in this competition. Down they come to try and secure the quarterfinals. It's Gordon who slows down first and is shoving Spruce Log against the wall, slowing them down, but Spruce Log's able to make the overtake in the very last second and advance to the quarterfinals, knocking out the championship leader. How did he pull that off? Let's see, there was only 300s between them. Here's Gordon shoving Spruce Log against the wall, but they're caught in a line of gaps, and eventually it comes back to bite them right there. They get too much air, and Spruce Log's able to find the fleeting opportunity to make the overtake, and Gordon is out. Big chance now for some of these competitors. Shining Dawn is one of them to try and gain some ground on the standings. Sergeant Vacker will try and stop Shining Dawn's pledge to the title, and Shining Dawn does cut Sergeant Vacker off perfectly on the rebound, runs to the line and wins it. Sergeant Vacker will crash out as one of the newcomers again, struggling to get a good run in these events. There was a little bit of contact right there as they slowed down, and that pushed Sergeant Vacker up a little bit too high and rattled their run down the ramp. Shining Dawn wins comfortably, and that's half our heats done through. 4 spots locked and loaded as we move on to the second half of the heats. Overgrowth versus Tropic Thunder. Of course, Tropic Thunder won gold a few events ago. Overgrowth yet to really get started this season as the defending runner-up, but is able to get ahead of Tropic Thunder well here and blocks perfectly on the rebound. Overgrowth will advance, finally getting through. Again, for the second time this season, they're going to get a top half result. Tropic Thunder cannot replicate their Dirt Dash success, but look at this right here. Huge moment in that race. Tropic Thunder rebounds much quicker than Overgrowth does, but Overgrowth gets in the perfect positioning to block Tropic Thunder and stall out any momentum they may have had. Great defending. Overgrowth able to advance. Breakfast Rito and Lightning Shark. in Heat 6 of the event. It's even down the ramp, but going up the ramp, Lightning Shark stalls immediately. It's already over. Before I could comment on Breakfast Rito's race, Lightning Shark had already cruised across the line in less than 4.5 seconds. A full second and a half almost separates those two competitors. Lightning Shark stopped immediately, 4.4 second time, cruised to a victory. Breakfast Rito had no chance there. Lightning Shark was just on another level in terms of stalling skills. As we move on to Heat 7, Golden Syrup versus Constellation. Of course, Constellation's in second place, but Golden Syrup is a previous winner in this event. They go a bit higher than Constellation does. They have to try and gun down to the line now. They have the speed, but it's not quite enough to get there. Constellation will move on to the quarterfinals by the skin of their teeth. Golden Syrup had the speed there, but just went a little bit too high at the top and not the perfect rebound. Either Constellation was quicker to get back down the ramp. Here's the speed from Golden Syrup. They have a great line. They actually caught themselves a little bit toward the end in the gaps. That actually may have been the difference maker, but they will go out. There will not be any repeat golds here. The final heat, Neoclassicus versus Blackcurrant, both on the rise in the last event. Which one will continue to rise? Blackcurrant has the lead, but Neoclassicus off the wall flies ahead of Blackcurrant and wins the race comfortably. Look at the speed Neoclassicus got at the end of the race there. That was fantastic business. They go very high up the ramp, bouncing off the wall. Perfect. Bouncing off, and Blackcurrant, who just swerved into the right wall, almost trying to block Neoclassicus, but mistimed the turn, and that let Neoclassicus just come flying through and win the race. And we have our 9th to 16th locked in. Golden Syrup will get 9th place, and look at that, championship leader Gordon secures a goose egg, 0 points. What does this mean? Several competitors now are going to be making huge gains in the championship. Gordon could lose at least one position. You're going to lose at least one position here. You'd think, based on how many teams, competitors are that close. And in all my talking, Fast Fish has already come across the line to secure a quarter-final win over Lapis Lazuli and is on to the semis. How did that play out? So Lapis Lazuli went a little bit too high, won by 2.5 tenths did Fast Fish. Here's a good rebound point here. Lapis Lazuli, could have made an overtake, but they swerved into Fast Fish by going toward the right. That probably was a bit of a mistake on Lapis's end, but Fast Fish secures semi-finals on a good run down the ramp, and now you move on to quarterfinal B. Spruce Logo, of course, put up a great show to get past Gordon in the heats. Shining Dawn now has faced with fending them off. Shining Dawn goes a bit lower. Spruce Log tries to go around, but gets caught up in the gaps on the way back down. Shining Dawn has advanced to the semi-finals. Spruce Log can't quite get there. Where did it go wrong? I swear Spruce Log had a better rebound and seemed to be catching a bit more speed. It was right about, it was there as they started moving toward the left. They caught up a gap of a line of gaps, and they slowed down dramatically, letting Shining Dawn secure the win. Quarterfinal C, Overgrowth versus Lightning Shark. They both did very well in their heats. Lightning Shark especially was excellent in their heats, but has gone far too high here. The complete opposite of their run in the heats. They're going to crash out very fast. Overgrowth almost saw what Lightning Shark did in the heats and used their own tricks against them as they stalled very early. 5.1 is one of the best times we've seen all day. Lightning Shark, one of the slowest in the quarterfinals so far. Despite their miraculous run in the heats, they will crash out here and finish in 5th to 8th. But Overgrowth secured a top 4 result for the first time this season. Finally has got some movement going here. Now quarterfinal D, Constellation versus Neoclassicus, both of which are on the rise. Constellation is of course second in the championship. What can they do to make some moves on Gordon? Neoclassicus has the lead right now and was going to hold on to it. Constellation had so much more speed than Neoclassicus, but did not have the movement to go around. They just smacked right into them from behind, and Neoclassicus is lucky to get through there. Neoclassicus gets caught on the way back down in the gaps terribly, and Constellation has so much speed, but just gets blocked by Neoclassicus on that right side of the track, and Constellation is out, a 5th to 8th result. Neoclassicus secures a spot in the next round. In fact, Constellation gets 8th place, but it will definitely be enough to already pass Gordon in the standings. I don't know who's going to be in first, with competitors like Shining Dawn and Neoclassicus also advancing. It depends on how they'll go. But Gordon's going to lose the championship lead here outright. Semi-final A, it's getting real dicey now. Fast Fish and Shining Dawn. Fast Fish goes a bit higher. Can't quite reach the wall either. It's all about the speed at the rebound now. Shining Dawn's going to secure it. Fast Fish cannot reach the wall and cannot capture the speed needed to get back in front of Shining Dawn. Shining Dawn, of course, has done very well so far this event. Has not really put a foot wrong, a roll wrong at all. They do catch a few gaps on the way back down there, but Fast Fish, going diagonal, couldn't quite make up the ground, despite Shining Dawn's less than perfect run. As we move on to semi-final B, Shining Dawn has secured a spot in the gold medal match. Overgrowth versus Neoclassicist, and down they come. It's pretty even. Overgrowth stops first. Neoclassicist has got to make a great run here to make any chance. It's not going to happen. They stall out in way too many gaps on the way down, and Overgrowth, who has secured 2 bronze medals in this event, by the way, in both previous iterations, is about to secure a silver at least. 3 from 3 for the medals in the Holeshot Rollback by Overgrowth. They are fantastic at this event. This would be the event where they start turning their season around. Neoclassicist will go to the 3rd place round with Fast Fish, but Shining Dawn and Overgrowth, a battle that is for the final. Those two don't like each other across history. How will that pan out? Will Overgrowth be able to secure their first gold in history, or will Shining Dawn flaunt them and take their own first gold in history? But first we must look to the 3rd place round before we see that blockbuster finale. Fast Fish and Neoclassicist, both of course looking for their first medal in these games. Neoclassicist is looking for their first medal in history. They go a bit higher than Fast Fish. They're both on the right side. Fast Fish goes slow, but Neoclassicist goes even slower, and Fast Fish is securing the 3rd place match here and gets bronze. Look at this, on the right side, in the gaps, Fast Fish goes very slow right there, but Neoclassicist is swerving diagonal and can't make up any progress during Fast Fish's brief slowdown, and it's not good enough. They will crash out and get 4th, but Shining Dawn and Overgrowth line up for the gold medal match. The winner of this will secure their first gold in history, and down they come. It's Shining Dawn who stops first. Overgrowth goes a bit higher, and it's really slow on the turnaround. It's game over for Overgrowth. They'll finish this event in 2nd place. Shining Dawn is going to cruise across the line for gold. The pivotal moment was right here. Overgrowth goes almost diagonal far too many times, letting Shining Dawn get a great run down the ramp. I don't even think it really mattered. Shining Dawn's finish was spectacular. Overgrowth just had to be a little bit quicker, maybe even go up and hit the wall, and that could have gotten them a chance. But Shining Dawn secures their first gold medal in history. Overgrowth, still the most medals in Train Rebel Trials history, holds that record after today, and Fast Fish secures 3rd. History, history, history today. And as the marbles roll out of the stadium for the final time, it is Shining Dawn who's taken the lead, gone up 3 spots into first. Gordon falls off the podium completely as Constellation Lightning Shark hold their podium places. Overgrowth is up several spots into 12th. Fast Fish is now into the top half. It is really hitting up at the top as Shining Dawn leads, but only 4 points separate the top 3, and the next event will also be historic. The final event in the downhill drag hallway, uphill drag, coming up next.